G'day, hey, hi, and welcome. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit of a different video here, but I thought it was important to do. And I know this debate has been taken on 1,020 times, times 10 times to the power of 4 squared by 9, subtract 6 at 18. And we know this has been talked about quite a bit. But it can never be talked about enough, in my opinion. Why? Because it is safety-oriented. Am I the safest rider on the planet? No. No, I won't claim that. Am I the most advanced rider on the planet? Nope, I won't claim that either. Am I an instructor? No. But I'll tell you, again, I keep harping back onto my experience, just so you understand of what I got. So I got about 130,000 miles on the road over the years. And I haven't ridden in about 20 years, and I just got back into it this year. So I'm starting off as if I'm a newbie again. Now, if I go into when I was a kid, learning on dirt bikes and three-wheelers and four-wheelers, how many miles I got there? Probably 250,000 on the literally, I've got over 250,000 miles on between two three-wheelers. Literally got about that much mileage on there. It's almost unbelievable. And I mean, that's back when it was really cheap to ride too. And then dirt bikes, same thing, hundreds of miles on them. Hundreds of thousands of miles on them. And in that time, especially when I was younger, I was probably one of the biggest squids out there. Okay? You jump on a dirt bike, you're in shorts, t-shirt, flip-flops, whatever it's going to be, and you ride around with your buddies or whatever, and then you crash into the gravel. Now, when you crash into the gravel, you're going to eat stones, and it sounds like a fun experience, but it actually really isn't. And the first time you do it, yes, your hand's going to come out. You're going to get rocks in your hands, and then the strangest thing is going to happen. You've now learned a painful experience, and because we tend to be creatures of habit and learn by our experiences. Don't touch the hot stove, Timmy, but Timmy has to learn the hard way. And if he's really stupid, it takes him 3 or 4 tries before he learns that he's not supposed to touch the hot stove. So when I go flying off the bike into the ditch, I get a handful of gravel. From that point on, I now wear riding gloves. But yet I'm still in the t-shirt, squidding it up in the shorts, whatever. But then you start to get into road riding. Now you're on Harleys, you're on BMWs, you're on Triumphs, whatever it is, race bikes, sport bikes, tour bikes, whatever. You're working on, and then you meet the guys that take it to the next level. And these are going to typically be cruiser riders. And what they're going to do is they're going to look at some guy riding around on a Ducati in shorts. He's got his Ray-Ban sunglasses on with the visor up, and $400 riding gloves and tennis shoes on, and they're gonna say, "Look at that squid." At least I wear my jeans. And I'm gonna tell you right now, sorry guys, denim jeans, those brand new Levi's, even the red tab Levi's, will not save your bacon when you go down. The Harley riders are probably the biggest squids out there. Almost every Harley rider I've passed in the past 30 rides that I've went out on my bike this year. Again, I try to ride every day. I've only got the bike on the road since end of July, right? So I'm trying to make up for lost time here. And that one's gotta hurt. That one's just gotta hurt. The thing is that almost all of them are in jeans and t-shirts. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing a lady riding a nice big old Harley in her nice tight jeans and her shapely body, and the tight t-shirt and the open face helmet with the glasses on. She's got the riding gloves on. She might even have riding boots on. But again, that poor beautiful girl, when she goes sliding across the pavement, it's going to be a very messed up, ugly day for that. The other one is that the guy in he's the sleeveless leather vest. Yeah, that's going to save you. Or the chaps with no butt in them. That's not going to save you either. So good riding equipment is expensive. I know that. And I only realize now how much of a squid I was back then. Jeans, tennis shoes. I did have a motorcycle jacket at one point, but just the jacket alone is not enough. I mean, there's going to be a lot of painful experiences. And I think somebody came up with, I don't know who came up with it, but they came up with a great slogan. And this is just a way to look at it. Cover whatever you're not willing to lose. Now, when I did my course again this year, I showed up in my onesie. I got this onesie for $400. Is it the best one in the world? No, but it does have most of the padding in there that I need, and it has the room to put in hard plates, which eventually, when I get the money, I will put in. And I bought, good summer riding gloves. They got the hard knuckle on them, the Kevlar and all that, and they seem to be pretty good gloves. And they got extra padding in the palms and stuff like that. And then, of course, I got my full face helmet. So the only thing I got left to do is buy really good riding boots, and I'll do a thing on riding boots later on when I get mine. But for now, it's mainly to ride as safe as possible. So I got this suit. I show up at the course. One of the instructors walks over to me and he goes, "First off, we're going to talk about riding equipment." And he comes right over to me and he goes, "I want to shake your hand." He goes, "Out of 15 years as a motorcycle instructor, you're the first person that's ever showed up with proper gear on." And I told him, I said, "Yeah, well, I'm getting back into it and I want to do it right this time. I want to make sure I have the best protection that I can afford, and so everybody got. And even when I did my motorcycle test last month, from the making of this video, the instructor was like, "Whoa, wow, you came prepared." He goes, "We're not going to Calabogie. We're just doing the road test." He was making a little joke at me. Calabogies are one of the raceways, one of the biggest racetracks in Canada, and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, he's like, "Oh no, we're not going to Calabogie. We're just going out on the street, whatever." So it was a funny little joke, But he was like, "Thanks for wearing good equipment. You're setting a good example." Okay, so I'm like, "Well, thank you." And then the instructor during the course asked me a question. He said, "Are you afraid of falling off the bike?" I said, No. I said, getting back into it. I was one of the better riders, obviously, at the course because it was a little bit rusty, but I never stalled the bike once. I did everything well. I was a little sloppy at first, and I recognize that I'm sloppy at first because I haven't done this again. It's been 20 years since I've last ridden, so I got to relearn some things again. It comes back very quickly, but you got to learn your limits again. You know what I mean? And he asked me, he goes, "Are you afraid of falling off the bike?" He says, "Because what's with the suit?" He goes. I said, "No." I said, "The theory I'm going with," I said, "I've got about 130,000 miles on the road." And what does that mean? It doesn't really mean much. I don't say that as a bragging rate. I say that as an experience level. Not to say that I'm better than somebody or worse than somebody. But in 130,000 miles, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen on the road. I've had tractor trailer tires blow up, pretty much on the tractor trailer and dodge pieces of belted rubber coming at me down the road. I've had a freaking your typical college student van with the mattress. I've had the mattress and a lawn chair fly at me. I've had all kinds of what I call gravel minefield, asteroid field, where you come into a corner and all of a sudden you hit this rocks all over the friggin' and went squarely on that. I've hit the patch of freaking radiator fluid at the light on the white stuff, on the white line. Yeah, I've hit all that stuff. And I got to tell you, there's just some things you're not going to see coming. I've done a slalom around 3 deer in 100 feet, or less than 100 feet. That was a terrifying experience, and I somehow survived it. But someday, maybe I won't be able to make it around the 3rd deer. I mean, it was just like watching a skier going down. When you see the skiers come down doing the slalom race, at about 95 miles an hour? Well, picture doing that on a motorbike with deer. Only instead of just hitting a little flagpole and losing a point, you lose your life, or you get a face full of venison, you know what I mean? And if you're going to get a face full of venison, trust me, you want as much protection on you as possible. Yeah, so I've had close calls, but not close calls that were rider-induced. It was just shit happens. The greater Murphy's Law had prevailed to see if it could really mess up my day. And when I explained that to the instructor, I said, the reason why I'm starting off with the suit is that at least because I know I'm committed to buying a bike, I'm getting back into it. I mean, I won't sleep until I ride again type of thing. I lost sleep fantasizing on my next motorcycle. And people who are into motorcycles, you know what I'm talking about. When you start thinking of the next bike, it's just you lose sleep. You're thinking about it 24/7. It's an obsession. It's like the addiction of addictions. One too many, a million not enough. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I said to him, I said, in that time, I said, this is what's happened to me, and this is what's happened to some of my friends that I rode with. At some point, I know I'm going down. If you ride enough, at some point you're going down. He goes, hey, I've been down 12 times. I go, point exactly. Cover whatever you're not willing to lose. He goes, I like that. He says, I'm going to use that. And again, it's, I don't know where I heard it. I heard it somewhere on the interweb somewhere. Somebody had mentioned it. I was like, damn, that's a good slogan. The other one is, this more pertains to my American brothers and sisters down there because, our healthcare is different up here in Canada. But riding equipment, what's more expensive, good riding equipment or hospital bills? That type of thing. Now, let's talk about riding equipment. Now, first off, for example, if you watch a MotoGP rider or the World Superbike guys, when they go down, very few of them ever get killed. Some of them do. Some of them, sometimes they break bones, but have you ever seen and you'll see the footage of a guy, he's coming around the corner, he's coming out of the corner, his bike goes into the speed wobble, down he goes, takes out 4 other bikes with him. There's just basically a rolling, motorcycles and Power Rangers just rolling on the ground. You get the one guy who's going to slide the good 500 feet, crash into the hay bales, gets up, pulls his helmet, throws it on the ground, starts kicking the dirt, runs up, punching his bike. And you can hear him, you see him, shaking his fists and yelling obscenities. The guy's fine. But what saved him? What saved him was his equipment. He may have a broken collarbone or a broken finger or a twisted ankle or whatever, or he might just be 100% fine because he just slid. There was no blunt force trauma. So the equipment usually just saves you from blunt force, from sliding. So like they say, dress for the slide, not the ride. Again, everybody loves to see that the women, just they look so gorgeous on there. And yeah, sure, guys, it gets hot. I know it gets hot. Guys and girls, it's hot out. Whatever. But would you rather sweat or slide? Would you rather sweat? And again, if you don't believe me, I would like you to grab some 180 grit sandpaper, put your thumb on it, grab it, put your thumb on it, and slide your thumb really fast. Now imagine that across your entire body, and then magnify it by about 10, and that might be close to what road rash is going to be like. So if you don't like that, again, would you rather sweat or slide? That type of thing. Now, yes, there are going to be times that I'm going to squid it. I know I'm going to do this. I'm trying not to make a habit of it. It takes time for me to get into my Power Ranger suit. I get that. That's not going to be for everybody. But at least if you a jacket, at least put on a jacket and riding pants. If that's quicker for you, it's inconvenience that make people do things that are dangerous. For example, it's easier to be in your shorts and tennis shoes and t-shirt than it is to put on your motorcycle jacket and your pants and your boots and your gloves and whatever. Most people put on the helmet only because it's required by law. Me, I would put on a helmet because I've talked to people who got brain damage for not putting on a helmet. One guy I knew, he downed his scooter in the yard at like 2 miles an hour. Permanent brain. The guy drools when he talks. He's slow, he's slow as molasses. Nicest guy, don't get me wrong, but he's slow. He's got permanent brain damage, and it happened at almost 0 speed. Another one of my guys, one of my old roommates, he used to race supercross or motocross, whatever, and he wiped out on the driveway, and he doesn't even remember it. He said he was in a coma for 6 months. He was squidding it up. He's with a bunch of buddies or whatever, jumped on his bike. And this is a guy who had some mad skills. I mean, he was almost up there with Jeremy McGrath until he wiped out. And then, he broke his ankle, broke his wrist, was in a coma for 6 months. And he said it was just the way the tire hit the curb. And he goes, Reg, I tell you, I was only doing maybe 10 miles an hour. Maybe 10 miles an hour. So we need to bring in some statistics in here. For example, below 10 miles per hour, you're almost 50% of the time going to sustain injuries. These are Quebec statistics for motorcycles, but they're probably going to hold an average around the world about the same. When you get above 25 miles per hour, you're almost 75% going to get injuries. It's almost 100%, or sorry, 95% to get injuries. Above 35 miles per hour, you're 95% likely to die. Okay, 73% of all motorcycle accidents end in a fatality. That's something you need to know. Above 50 miles per hour, death is almost 100% certain. Above. Yes, there's that guy that wiped out at 162 miles an hour, somehow skipped off the grass, skipped off the hydro pole, and just landed in the bale of hay at the, beside the pitchfork, and God was on his side that day. Sure, fine. There's always that guy. Don't use him as your example because he's the exception to the rule. Trust me, that type of thing. The other one is let's get back to the equipment. My gear, okay, I know everybody likes to pick on Yaminu because the guy does seem to have crashed quite a bit. I think overestimating his skill levels. The Porsche crash where he went around the corner and crossed the line and right head on into a Porsche. And again, how the guy is still alive, I don't know. Now, I'm not bashing him as a person, but we can use him as an example. His suit, for example, he did a thing on his suit after, and you can see where the EMTs cut open his suit to get him out of it. And he was all busted up and there's all kinds of blood in it. But the suit itself was in good condition. It was almost like if they didn't have to cut him out of the suit, he probably would still be able to wear that suit. Might smell a little funky with all the blood in it. But the thing is that it was still probably safe enough to use because the suit, the leather and everything like that is really meant for a slide. The thing you need to understand is what it's not meant to do, and this is the same with pretty much your boots, your gloves, and your helmet, is that even though the helmet is probably the hardest object you're going to be wearing and designed to take the most impact, when you get into an accident on a motorcycle, the rider absorbs 100% of the impact. It's not, okay, well, I know a lot of people think in the terms like of an F1 car. Well, the front cone takes the hit first and dissipates the energy. The bumper takes the hit. This takes the hit, that takes the hit. And it's more true with a car, but with a bike, the way the energy is transferred, it transfers 100% into the rider. It will hit your tire. The tire will then, the bike will then stop on the hood of the car. The bars will then, all that energy will come up through the bars, and it will then 100% transfer into the rider. The rider will then do a nice pirouette right into the windshield of the car, and whatever, maybe high five the driver as you're going by, as you exit the back dash, right? And that the rider will absorb that. Now you might not. You might go through there with a broken neck, and they'll pull you out of the suit without a drop of blood on you. So the equipment will do its job, but it's not meant to stop you from blunt force trauma. It's not meant to stop you from wrapping around a hydro pole backwards and snap you in half, that type of thing. It's not meant for a hard smack onto the pavement. But there is equipment out there that is becoming more advanced, such as these airbag suits, motorcycle airbag suits. If you haven't seen the footage of these things, the only problem with that kind of equipment is it's usually so obscenely expensive the average rider can't afford it. And I think they should do incentives maybe with insurance. For example, we'll cut your insurance in half if you buy that $800 suit. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But then what's your life worth? an $800 jacket. I'd rather you, if you can't afford the $800 jacket, I got the deal of a century on this suit. $400 down from about $800. Probably one of the cheapest made full onesie suit out there. And I wanted a onesie just because I had I was buying a sport bike. It's not the most comfortable thing to wear, I'll be honest with you, but it's now getting broken in that it's easier to put on. When the first few times I put it on, I pretty much needed some pry irons just to get out of it. Like I had to kind of spatula myself into it, spatula myself out of my Power Ranger suit, right? But now I find it second nature to put on. I got used to putting it on. I think I've only ridden this bike on the road once without the suit on, and I feel so vulnerable without it on. It's so strange because this is one of the mentality Atgat guys get. You get a paranoia when you're not wearing all your gear, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, even on the hot days. In my suit, really, to be honest with you, I've worn this suit in 16 hours in a parking lot at low speed on like 40 degree, 45 degree tarmac, that type of weather. It is uncomfortable, but as soon as you're moving, the suit's ventilated enough, it's good. But the thing is if you can't afford the $800 jacket, buy the $500 jacket. If you can't afford the $500 jacket, buy the $200 jacket. If not, get the $169.99 special. It's better than nothing. Riding pants again, or jeans, or you can get, yes, the pants are about 100. Starting with, say, if you get a really good deal, you'll get probably leather pants for around $100. Probably better than nothing, but are probably not going to have adequate padding. Budget about $200. So if you budgeted, say, $400, you could probably get a jacket and good riding pants, okay riding pants. Maybe not great riding pants, but okay, an okay jacket, okay riding pants. It's a start. Budget another, say, $50 to $100 for the gloves. Budget another $100 to $160 for the boots, and then maybe $150 up for the helmet. I had to buy one of the cheaper helmets because that's what my budget entailed. Now, the way I did it when I got back into it, and this is the way I would recommend. If you're a new rider and you've never ridden before, ever in your life, and you don't know if you're going to like this or not, I wouldn't suggest you go out and buy $1,000 of riding equipment until you have your bike. But what I would suggest is don't spend all your budget on your bike. Basically, break it up, saying, okay, this is the budget for the bike, and the bike is this much. Okay, I have this much. Okay, well then I want to have, because what will happen is if you buy the bike first, you won't buy the equipment. You'll put it off to next year, and you never buy it, and you've been sweating all that time. But if you add into your budget, okay, I'm buying the bike next Tuesday. I'm going to go get the riding gloves, the boots, and the jacket, and the helmet now. Unless you know you're going to be 100% committed to it. Because I know what happens, like people will buy like $1,000 suit, $1,800 riding suit, and gear like that, and they never buy the bike. You know what I mean? They take the course. I know people that took courses, they still have their motorcycle license, and they've yet to buy their first bike. You know what I mean? That happens. So you want to bring that in onto your budget, that, the safety equipment. Now, just to give you an idea, and this is not to discourage, I'm not going to say it's going to cost you this much. By the time I took the course, okay, because I did this all in 1 year, okay, but mind you, I saved up quite a bit to do it and whatever. With the running back and forth, getting the course all in was probably about $2,000. That includes the final road test and everything. So we'll say about $1,800 to $2,000 just in the course, okay? My bike, with the taxes and the safety on it, was another, we'll say $4,000. So I'm already up at $6,000, okay? The insurance on the bike was, the plate was might as well say $1,200. And the insurance, because the way we do the insurance here is it's a little different. They have no fault insurance, so you don't get a good deal here at all. They really screw you over. And it was an extra $138 for the insurance on, the regular insurance on the bike. Then my suit was $400. My gloves were $100. My helmet was $160 something. And the boots, right now I don't have the money for the good boots. I'm riding around on Doc Martens, which is not the best thing. And I say, when you're buying your boots, make sure you avoid laces like the plague. Zippers or slip-ons or Velcro. Nothing else. No laces. Laces get sucked. Even if you have a shaft drive bike, that lace can get sucked through the back tire. So, and if you have a belt drive or a chain drive, yes, I've seen people with pant legs ripped up, with baggy pant legs, well ripped up from getting sucked through the chain and stuff like that. Yeah, that stuff happens. You don't think it can happen, but trust me, it happens. I've heard of people having their legs sucked through the chain. Again, that you don't want your body parts being sucked through that kind of a meat grinder scenario. So good equipment is definitely something people should definitely put all their effort into buying. Again, is it a guarantee that you'll never get hurt? No, there's no guarantees. And because there is no guarantee, you have to understand everything about a motorcycle. The only time a motorcycle is not at risk is when it's probably parked in your driveway on the side stand and you're like doing something else. The second you walk near that bike and throw your leg over the saddle, the risk starts. Getting the bike off the stand, for example, doesn't sound like a risk, but it's a risk. You know, you now have to take the responsibility of holding the bike. As soon as you're coming out of your driveway, you're now at risk because you're now pulling onto the road and there could be traffic. There could be a kid with a ball. There could be a dog. There could be a deer, whatever. And it's all risk. Once you're in the traffic, you can end up on somebody's hood quicker than you can say, holy crap, I ended up on somebody's hood. It's all risk. It's not to scare people, but it's to keep it reality. Now, there is lots of footage out there, and I don't really have the way to rip videos and stuff like that, of guys, Atgat versus Squid, where you see typically your squid rider do something, they go down, and when they go down, they're all skinned up and ripped up and rashed and everything like that. And then you've got your Atgat guy. One footage, the guy saves his wife. They're riding, it's in the rain. Murphy's Law took over. Next thing you know, the bike's on its side. I guess they hydroplaned just the right way. Maybe who knows why they went down. They were going in a straight line, and all of a sudden, bang. They're now, she's screaming. He's got her basically sliding on top of him. They're both sliding together. They both get up, walk it off, hug each other type of thing. Are you okay? I'm okay. Are you okay? The gear saved the both of us. You know, the bike, okay, yeah, the bike's going to need some repairs, but the gear worked. Others, not so lucky. They go down, they slid 4 feet, and they look like somebody threw them down a cheese grater slide. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So this is what it is. You know, everybody's going to have a different response to this, and I get that. And you know, I do understand, yes, I used to squid it up. The biggest squids out there are the cruiser riders, not just the Harley riders, but the cruiser riders. The guys on the sport touring bikes, they're always dressed for the Parastacker race. So they always they tend to be Atgat guys. The guys on the big gold wings, they're kind of 50-50. They're either always in full gear. You know, the husband and wife are riding together in tandem gold wings type of thing. They're in full gear, or they're both squidding it up in T-shirts and, you know, that type of thing. T-shirts and sunglasses and, you know, whatever. Jeans, whatever. The Harley riders, almost none of them wear adequate protection gear. Some of them do. They'll got the full leather suit or whatever and a good jacket. But with most Harley riders, if they wear any good equipment, it's usually just the jacket. They're usually riding an open face. Some of them wear good open face helmets, but open face always has more of a risk. But they also, open face does have advantages too. You can see better. This is one of the things, makes shoulder checks easier, that type of thing. But now your face is completely exposed to whatever whatever stuff is going to be hurled at it. So I've ridden open face for years. I've never really had a problem with that. But on the other hand too, everything is again a measurement of risk, right? The other riders that tend to be really squid it quite a bit. There are sport bike riders that are squidding it, and I think especially if you're on a sport bike. Now that I own one, it's like you're riding a machine that you know you're going to do stuff on that you probably shouldn't do. You know you're going to be increasing your risk at some point. Now, I'm not one of those guys that just grab the throttle, twist it, wind the bike right out, and hold it there. But you know, I'll be honest with you. I like to feel the acceleration sometime too, and you know, go into Buck Rogers mode a bit, and you know, pretend you're at the Isle of Man on a few corners. I get that. Everybody does that when they're on a sport bike. But I understand that it increases your risk. It doesn't mean you're going like a madman all the time. I do believe in the 50-50 rule, that type of thing. But on the other hand, too, if something happens, there are no guarantees you're not going to get hurt. But you're less likely to get hurt if you have better equipment. So I think that's pretty much says it all. So the Atgat is the way to go. All the gear, all the time, versus squid. I need to be comfortable because it's too hot out. I need to be comfortable because, wow, I'm a good rider. Nothing bad will ever happen to me. It doesn't work like I wish it worked like that. I wish it was just about the guy being the best rider. I mean, I've talked to guys, again, motorcycle instructors saying, yeah, I've been down 12 times. I haven't been down 12 times, but this guy's probably put more mileage than I have. And it doesn't even matter your mileage. There's some people they crash after the first mile. Again, usually statistically speaking, your first year of riding, if you're going to go down, it's going to be in your first year because you have the least amount of experience. There's some guys I've talked to, they got 28,000 million miles on, like 250,000 miles on the road, and they've been riding for 28 years type of thing, and they've got millions of miles on the road. They're on their 15th motorcycle because they've worn the other ones out, and yeah, they have a major crash. Something happened. They were riding down the road, and holy shit, my back tire, just let go, and that type of thing. These things happen. And what saved my bacon? I was wearing the best gear possible. I would have been this much more injured if I didn't have it, that type of thing. So I think we know where we can take this conversation. I think we know what we need to do. I think I know that most people would agree that Atgat's the better way to go. But what I would encourage is to actually put it into practice. I'm trying to lead by example with myself as much as possible. Wear my Power Ranger suit every time I go out. I actually enjoy putting on the suit, though. To me, it's like a treat, I can imagine the average commuter might not enjoy that as much, It's like, I just don't feel like wearing the suit. I just want to get to work and back. But the risk, it's always about the risk, right? Again, cover whatever you don't want to lose. Yeah, I guess that's about all I can really say about this. So you guys let me know what are you an Atgatter? All the gear all the time, and if you are, why? Was there an experience you had that kind of changed your mind? I think one of the things that really got me, every time I think Atgat, I think of this guy that I knew that I didn't know him really well, but he went down and he lost a leg, and I didn't know, and he come into the bar one night on one leg, and his running theme of the night was, don't pressure me, man. Don't make me put my foot down. And here he's on a crutch. And he took it in stride for a guy who lost a leg. But he lost a leg. The bike went down. He slid under the bike. No matter what gear he would have been wearing, that probably would have happened. But maybe, just maybe, that the gear might have helped a bit, and maybe, just maybe, they will come up with gear that will help us from that. They're coming out with amazing technology, lightweight carbon fiber bits that you put on. Like you feel like when I put on my suit, I feel like a gladiatorial knight. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm about to go into a jousting tournament, that type of thing. In medieval times, I really do feel protected on it, but I don't give the illusion that I can't be hurt. That type of thing. Riding skill is one thing, Murphy's Law is another, mishaps are another. So it comes down to, if you ride long enough, something is going to happen to you. And if it does, that's where the gear, buy the best you can. When I have the money to buy the airbag suit, that's my upgrade. That's what I want. But till that time, I'll wear the best I can afford. And I think I got, again, the deal I got, I got 1/4 inch thick leather, and the ability to put in hard plates in there and everything like that. Plus, it's already got extra plate. Like, you could triple the padding in there. It's a good deal for what I got. So look around. Sometimes you can find, maybe you can buy the equipment used. There's an option right there. The guy who, he no longer rides. Here's my onesie. It was $1,800 new. I'll sell it to you for $350. Here's my brand new jacket. It doesn't fit me anymore. I got a little too fat, but it's got all, it's got the elbow protection and the wrist protection and back protection and spine protector, all that stuff. Sometimes you can find great deals on used equipment. My old motorcycle jacket was probably a 1970s or a 1960s jacket. I kid you not, this was almost 5/8 thick leather. It was the thickest jacket. You could set it up on a counter, zip it up, and it would stand there. It was that thick. This was like a jacket. It had kidney protection that was like, it was double sewn leather. It was the best protection you could probably get in the day. Now there's better. And I used to wear that quite a bit on trips, but I didn't wear it all the time, and I should have. But it was warm. It was really hot. It didn't breathe at all. The new suits now, even the leather ones, they breathe much better. So, you don't even have to wear leather. You can there's all kinds of materials out there. But again, the technology is becoming safer, so take advantage of that technology. And again, if you're still squidding it, why are you doing it? Just tell us down below. I'm going to let everybody... I never censor my comments on any channel I have, but I want people to give you shit. You know, because again, I'm riding around now that I'm an Atgat guy. I realize how many squids are out there, and I realize what I was doing wrong and how much risk. I don't know how I didn't get hurt. I was just lucky. That's the only thing I could say, was I was just lucky. Because had I went down 20 years ago when I was riding, had I went down on any of those bikes, I was definitely not adequately protected. And even now, I'm still nitpick that, you know, how good is this equipment that I'm wearing? Yeah, there we go. So anyway, everybody be safe out there. Enjoy. Get in on this conversation. Put your thoughts and opinions on it. Share the video around. And most importantly, if you have some squid friends that you want to get through to, maybe show them this video, because some of the pictures in this video are pretty graphic. I should have gave you a bit of a warning for that, but it shows a bit of reality too of what happens. And just put yourself in the scenario of these pictures. They might be more comedic to you because you're, haha, it's funny because I don't know the guy, Homer Simpson style. But if you picture yourself the guy that's, it's just, it's going to end badly when he hits the ground, that type of thing. So just show that. Even and the other thing to keep in mind, no matter how good of a rider you are, there's a lot of these pictures are of expert riders. These are the best of the best that ride around a track at hundreds of miles an hour and win trophies and stuff. And if they're going down from time to time because Murphy decided that, you know what, you're not winning the MotoGP today because I'm going to take out your front tire on that next little grease patch that you don't know about, and you're going to have a really bad day. But if these guys go down, what makes you think you're the exception to the rule, So just, again, if you have some squid friends, make sure you show them this video. All right, so anyway, ride safe. Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later.